Thank you for joining us on Money Matters. My name is Faith Katai. Zambia has successfully transitioned to real-time digital payment systems. This includes mobile money and electronic platforms. Following the phasing out of checks on 30th June 2026, on Money Matters, we are focusing on benefits of using digital payments systems. And to help us discuss this topic, I'm joined in the studio by the Chief Executive Officer of the Bankers Association of Zambia, Mr. Leonard Mwanza. Sir, welcome to Money Matters. We are delighted to have you back.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to come back on your show.
Okay. So just to start with, briefly, what do we mean when we say digital payment systems? What are we referring to?
So digital payment systems are the various payment platforms that allow instant payments to be processed, that allow self-processing of transaction by the account owners wherever they are using digital tools. The closest and simplest definition is the mobile money transactions. All of us have a mobile phone, and somehow we should have registered for a mobile money, whichever network you're using. So when you're transacting and sending money from one mobile money account to the next mobile money account, that is the simplest definition of digital banking or digital financial transactions. But indeed, there are other channels. Mobile money is just one of them. Granted, I think in terms of behavioral change as a country, we've seen more and more transactions. I'll speak about the numbers later, being moved on the mobile money transaction platforms. I think that's why even financial inclusion is being driven from. A lot of financial inclusion and outreach in hard-to-reach areas is actually anchored on mobile money transactions. But then we have other channels like internet banking, mobile money wallets, bank wallets where you can move money from your bank account to an e-wallet account. And it doesn't mean have to be someone who has a bank account with your bank. So you can send money from your bank to any mobile money. These are e-wallet transactions. You can send money from an e-wallet transaction to pay for goods, to transfer money to someone else. All those are mobile money transactions. So from the banking platform, you have the internet banking transaction. Those are digital payments. The wallet transactions, those are digital payments. The point of sale transactions, those are digital payments. And the EFTs are commonly referred to as direct debit and direct credits. Obviously, there are limits that are transacted on these platforms. For the high-value transactions, they are processed through the RTGS platform, through the central bank. So all these are electronic channels through which money moves from one payee to the receiver. And most of them, except that are batch-based, are actually in real time and in seconds. Milliseconds, actually, you're trying to move money from your mobile account to another person. Within millisecond, instant value is given. I think that's the simplest description of what we mean by digital mobile transaction.
Okay, so how's been the shift to electronic platforms so far?
So I think we've learned a lesson around having an integrated ecosystem. From the time the NFS was launched in 2018, we've been seeing an exponential growth on mobile money transactions. And the figures are so interesting and they're so encouraging. I think it shows to acceptance by the general public. Let me start with the mobile money, which is the biggest puller and mover of transactions. Last year, 4.9 billion transactions with 892 billion Zambian kwacha. That is the value of transaction that were processed on the mobile money transaction across the country.
Wow, that's a huge number.
It's a huge number. Then we move to the banking platforms. The banking platforms, I think, moved something like 371 billion. I'm talking about the internet banking platforms, the wallet platforms, or the wallet to mobile money platforms. They also moved 371 billion kwacha in the whole year. Let's look at those of us who go to retailers or shops that have point of sales. We have 57,000 point of sales across the country, various retailers. 90 million transactions processed in 2025 with 196 billion kwacha. So as you are swiping, those transactions are counted by the minute, and they're in real time. You swipe immediately before you walk out, you'll get your notification that you've transacted and money is held for the benefit of the goods that you've purchased. You go to the EFT transactions. Again, a lot of numbers have been processed there. 12 million transactions for the oil on EFTs worth 180 billion. So we are discussing billions of kwachas that are moving every day in real time, even as we're speaking. So I think we have really made some great progress, and I'm glad Zambia is among the top 10 countries in Africa which are using mobile money as a form of payment. Yeah, so it's good that we are in the top 10 countries. I know Kenya leads the chart, but I think Zambia also is among the top 10 in as far as uses of mobile money transaction. And I think the numbers are speaking to this greater improvement, exponential growth. But this couldn't have happened without market acceptance. The behavior around people embracing mobile money transactions. I think we see it in the market. If you don't have cash, the first default option, you can send to my mobile money.
Exactly.
Even when you're driving out of Lusaka, you want to buy something by the roadside, they've got those options. You don't have cash.
Even on a bus.
Even on a bus. So we are accepting. All I want to see if we can have more and more transactions being processed on mobile money platform, digital money platform, so that we can move away from, I think, the high inclination towards cash. I think in terms of having the channels, in terms of moving the numbers, just this year in the first quarter on the mobile money, I was seeing a figure something like 255 billion transactions. Last year we had 892 billion. Looks like we may hit 1 trillion Zambian kwacha worth of transactions being processed on mobile money transactions. I think that's quite a great improvement, and I would like to thank the Zambian people for embracing and accepting these channels.
So why then is it important for Zambia to transition from digital payment systems?
A lot of benefits. Look, digital payments or digital platform create visibility. It leaves a footprint. You can easily go and download your statement. It will show you where you sent the money. It will show you who gave you the money. Particularly important if you're a small, medium enterprise. You're doing business. You may not have proper financial records or an accountant to look through your figures. Having digital payment or mobile transactions can help you to have that visibility as you're having a conversation with your banker, because they'll be able to pull your statements electronically, and they can then have a conversation with you. We see this income, where is it coming from? Then you should be able to explain, oh, the business I told you I'm doing, this is what I generate. So when people come, I don't receive cash, I actually receive money through either my mobile money or direct into the bank account. The convenience of having access to cash flow in real time, it cannot be any better. Instead of you waiting for money to hit your account 3-4 days later or a day later, you have it immediate. What can you do with it? You can restock immediate. You can pay for your needs immediate. You can expand immediate. So you have instant access to your cash flows. And I think once you have that picture, then you can even say, okay, these are my stock reorder levels. This is the amount of money I need to replenish my goods. You can even forecast to say, this is my peak time when my customers come in, and these are the things that they usually want to buy. All those things help to create information, data, that can help to have a conversation around who are you, what are you doing, how can we help you? And eventually, I think the economy tends to benefit, because then you can have visibility on whatever is happening, because the GDP is about whatever we're doing, the production. So if that production is translated into financial transaction, and then those financial transactions can be traced to either a mobile money account, to a bank account, then you have the full visibility around what's happening in an economy. I did mention that just on the mobile money transactions, 892 billion was processed. Yes, we understand the average transaction are small, maybe 200 kwacha, but it tells you a story. And that story, you can follow it and say, what other questions can we ask out of this story? How can we improve these processes? How can the economy benefit? That's what it means when you say you're using digital transactions, mobile money, internet banking. it gives you full visibility around what the individual is doing. It can give you full visibility in terms of what the local authorities in that area needs to embark on to improve certain things. Because then you can say there's a concentration of farmers in this area. We need to give them roads. We need to give them a market based on the data that can be harnessed even from just financial transactions. So it's extremely important, not just for an individual, for a business, for a bank, but even just generally for the economy. We can then tell each other and say, maybe we're not collecting revenues from this angle. Let's focus on it. It's something, we've left something behind. Let's bring it on into our national revenue computations.
Well, someone would ask, are digital payment systems designed for everyone, or are they primarily targeted at businesses and bank customers?
At the back of the mind when producing these digital payment channels is convenience, efficiency. We are moving to real-time instant payments. And it's not about anyone. It's not about the low-income group, the high-income group. It's about the convenience and the efficiency it brings. So whether you're receiving a 200 kwacha, the joy you get immediately you get that money, that's the same joy who is receiving large sums of money, except because of risk controls, there are certain thresholds. For instance, I think for mobile money transaction, there's a limit. You can't initiate a transaction of more than 10,000 kwacha. It's a risk control measure. After a certain amount, you can't use that platform. You have to move to the EFT. After, say, 500 million, you can't use the EFT. You have to use the RTGS. I think it's just for the security posture of these transactions that when you're moving huge sums of money, you use these transactions must move into this particular rail. It's just for risk and control measures. But otherwise, these digital payments were designed for convenience. The same smile that is given to the person that receives 100 kwacha, that's the same smile we want to give to the corporate that is expecting a billion payment from whichever person they are dealing with. And at the end of the day, it's the convenience of having easy access to their cash flows, the visibility of what they are doing, having easier conversation with the banker, because the banker's mind, the first thing is, you have cash flows, yes, can I test those cash flows? You can pay back, yes, okay, then I'm able to trust you. Before even asking for any other form of security, the trust comes from the transactions. The conversation around risk starts from the transactions. So I think creating that visibility is extremely important for all of us.
Okay. I know you touched on this one, but I want you to go a little bit deeper on the benefits of these digital payment systems going cashless as regards to the Zambian economy.
So I know we are still a long way in terms of going cashless as an economy. Neither can we go 100% cashless. Our drive is to move cash light, at least to move most of the transactions on the digital channels so that we move less cash from circulation. Now let me start with cash. Cash is expensive to print, and cash is expensive to move. To move cash, you have to invoke all the security protocols. When you're seeing those CIT vehicles, they're not just alone, they're with proper security, CCTV, monitoring, and that kind of thing. All those are costs that are added to the movement of cash, and you have to move cash from the breadth of this country. It's expensive. There are fuel costs, vehicle maintenance costs. It's a cost the people that move that money must incur. Either it's the central bank taking the money to sub-chase across the country, or it's the banks now that are drawing money from the sub-chase to now the service centers, or it's a mobile money booth that goes to the bank to collect the money, and they must drive to their shop maybe 20 kilometers away from where the bank is. I think all those attendant costs around the issue of the usage of cash. An appeal that for all of us that are in this economy and are doing business, let us not shun away from the digital payment channels. We have tested them. They are working. A lot of people have migrated. So for those that may be resisting to move towards mobile transactions or mobile money, it's time they also changed and moved, because they would help us to reduce the volume or the velocity of cash in circulation. Money costs money to print. And I think as the money is circulating, it gets sold, right? We just add a change of old currency to the new currency, because the old currency we are mutilated, literally unusable. Why? Because of the high velocity in terms of usage. So if we are to protect the future cost of printing, we can embrace these digital channels and ensure that all our transactions, all our businesses move towards accepting the digital payment channels. The less cash that is in circulation, the better for the larger economy. And I think it also gives that visibility, because we all talk about SMEs not having access to funding. Who is going to talk to you if that money goes direct in your pocket? Take that money first to a bank. The bank will notice you. The moment you now want to go and talk to the bank, there's a base on which you can have a conversation, and that conversation can lead to further collaborations and support.
Okay. We now go on a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. You are watching Money Matters. We are looking at benefits of using digital payment systems. My guest in the studio is the Chief Executive Officer of the Bankers Association of Zambia, BAS, Mr. Leonard Mwanza. So many small and medium businesses still rely heavily on cash. What advantages can they gain by adopting digital payment systems?
As I said, visibility, creating value to yourself in terms of what you create, how much is pushed in your bank account, can bring other added value services to an SME, especially when they go to the bank, to the lender, to have a conversation around being supported to increase their working capital. So keep your money in a mobile money, receive all your money electronically. You create a very verifiable source of income and kind of business, so that when you go and ask for help or you're looking for a loan, there's a base from where you can start from. But if you're outside that base, it becomes a very difficult conversation. So keep your money in the bank, receive money using electronic means, get that point of sale at your business if you can, and then see how transactions are electronically recorded and kept. Perhaps then the conversation around lack of finance or not being able to borrow may change, because once you have that visibility about what you're doing, the conversation around how can we help you, how much money can you access from us, is much, much easier. The risks start reducing.
Okay. Security is a major concern for many people. How safe are digital payment systems, and what measures are banks taking to protect customers from fraud and cybercrime?
Obviously, top of mind for the banking sector are issues of cyber crimes, digital frauds. Yes, they're happening every day, but there are maybe two lines of defense, if I may emphasize. The first defense is on me as a user. When I have access to my bank account, you are given an access code. You create a PIN that is yours. Your card, you have your own PIN that you use to access funds either on your point of sale or on your ATM. And what we always say is that the PIN is your PIN. Keep it safe. Don't share it with anyone. When you are transacting, be mindful of your environment. Always try to shield with your hand when you are entering your PIN, either on the ATM, whether on the point of sale machines. Be alert if you have registered with a mobile money service with a bank, because most banks have linked the mobile phone number with the bank account. So whenever there's a transaction, an instant notification comes. If you're using internet banking, there's a two-factor authentication. You log in, you are processing the transaction. Before you complete it, they will send a code. That code must come to you, to your authorized phone number. So once you get that code, that's when you can now complete the transaction. So make sure you don't ask someone, can I please help me? Because once they have your details, they can easily use that card. They can use your mobile money, and it's very easy for you to lose your money. So the control environment starts with all of us. The second one, obviously, as banks invest in a lot of infrastructure platforms to protect the systems. They're always on an alert in terms of monitoring. Even at an industry level, threat levels are monitored in real time. ZICTA does that, the banks themselves do that, the central bank do that. So we have channels in which we could alert each other that we are seeing these attack vectors coming from this, please be more alert. And because of that, I'm not saying we are always 100% in terms of prevention, but most of the times we're able to thwart attempts at the point of attempt. There are instances where those attempts are successful, but because of those control measures and the security postures and protocols the banks have invested in, we're able to at least mitigate. The mitigation measures, I think, help to ensure that we avert major losses. And these investments are at a huge cost, but they are of extreme importance for everyone because we need to protect the ecosystem. There are processes of you reporting your lost phone, for instance. If someone has stolen your phone, they've taken your SIM swap, your SIM, you can just pick any phone from anyone next to you and just say *707# and report that I no longer have access to my SIM card. And that card will be instantly blocked to avoid you losing a lot of money. We are working on a process that will also allow the banks to be alerted in real time to block phone numbers that are linked to bank accounts to avoid that lag effect between the blocking of a SIM card through a mobile money channel or a mobile service provider. We want to have that direct linkage so that within milliseconds or thereabout, the bank also can receive an alert that your customer, whose phone number is linked to your account, has just lost their SIM card and they've reported on this platform. I think we are working towards ensuring that we continuously improve the environment. The risks are there, we understand them, but I think a lot of investments around securing the ecosystem. It's about continuous improvement, and we speak to each other. We help each other to ensure that we protect the entire eco payment system. As you know, banks are integrated to fintechs, they're integrated to mobile money and other third-party providers. So we all work together to make sure that all these transactions are being processed through secure channels. And I think, as I said, we are very, very much alert in terms of preventing, trying to prevent, and not 100% protection, but I think we are quite agile in terms of ensuring that attempted threats are managed even before they happen.
Great. As a Bankers Association of Zambia, how are you working with government to promote inclusive digital payments ecosystem?
So all government services are now on internet banking. In fact, even internet transaction for the first quarter increased. So wherever you are, where you have a government spending agents, they've now been onboarded on the government service bus and through that channel, through internet banking. But we're also promoting digital transactions through the National Financial Switch, through all these just look at even the recovery of statutory contribution, talking of NIMA, NAPSA, ZRI. They're all integrated to the digital payment system. So you file in your return, you can then choose to pay whether you're using your mobile money or your bank account. All those things are seamless. So we are working towards ensuring that we have a financially included population and the digitally literate population. So there are all those programs that we work in the background with the government to ensure that we increase the usage of these digital platforms.
Finally, as we wrap up the program, Mr. Mwanza, what message would you like to share with Zambians who are still hesitant to use digital payment systems?
The numbers and volumes are saying we are moving on the digital payment. We could say thank you to the Zambian for accepting these digital channels. The question is, why should you sit back when money is moving on digital payment trails? Why should you still be inclined to cash usage? For what benefit? I think let's help each other to ensure that we reach maybe a 90% transaction volumes that are processed through these digital channels. On our side, as banks, fintechs, mobile money, we have integrated. to make it more convenient for you to receive your money instantly. And you are assured right there and then the money is in my account. It's my mobile money. So really, we still have a challenge to believe that people will still be inclined to overusage of cash in their business transactions when the economy has already moved. The transaction volumes I was mentioning are already telling us a story that money has moved to these e-channels, digital channels. So why should you as a business, a marketeer, sit back and just wait for cash when you can actually just accept money using your mobile money account? The future is such that we may deploy the QR code in future. And what we mean by QR code, the way you tap, that's how we want to see payments being processed. Just using your phone, a marketer can have a QR code. You just tap, put your money, off you go. That's what we want to make sure that everyone participates. But so far, I think we can see that there's great effort towards acceptance of these channels, and the numbers are speaking to a great improvement, exponential growth. So thank you to the Zambians. Let's keep moving in terms of ensuring that we embrace these digital channels.
Mr. Mwanza, thank you so much for coming through to Money Matters.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you so much.
Viewers, as we've heard, digital payments offer greater convenience, improved security, and increased financial inclusion while supporting economic growth. The journey to cashless society requires collaboration from banks, businesses, government, and the public. That's all we had for you on Money Matters. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Faith Katai. Goodbye.